Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Gramin Bharat Mahotsav 2025, shares vision of transforming Indian villages into vibrant centers of growth. Judge presiding over hush money case to sentence Donald Trump 10 days before January 20th inauguration signals no prison time. Mike Johnson re-elected as US House Speaker with crucial backing of incoming President Donald Trump. "15 wickets stumble in a single day on visibly green top at Sydney Cricket Ground. Rishabh Pant's quick-fire 61, only bright spot in shabby Indian batting show." India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Gramin Bharat Mahotsav 2025 today at Bharat Mandapam in the national capital. Underscoring the unprecedented focus on rural infrastructure, Prime Minister shared the vision of transforming rural India into vibrant centers of growth and opportunity and highlighted that most villages are now connected to highways, expressways and railways.
साथियों, आज देश में जितना रूरल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर फोकस किया जा रहा है उतना पहले कभी नहीं हुआ। आज देश के ज्यादातर गांव हाईवेज, एक्सप्रेसवे और रेलवेज के नेटवर्क से जुड़ रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना के तहत 10 साल में ग्रामीण इलाकों में करीब 4 लाख किलोमीटर लंबी सड़कें बनाई गई है। डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के मामले में भी हमारे गांव 21वीं सदी के आधुनिक गांव बन रहे हैं। हमारे गांव के लोगों ने उन लोगों को झुठला दिया है जो सोचते थे कि गांव के लोग डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी अपना नहीं पाएंगे। मैं यहां देख रहा हूं सब लोग मोबाइल फोन से वीडियो उतार रहे हैं, सब गांव के लोग हैं।
While addressing the gathering, Prime Minister emphasized the importance of implementing economic policies that cater to every section of rural India.
ग्रामीण अर्थव्यवस्था की मजबूती के लिए बहुत आवश्यक है कि गांव में हर वर्ग को ध्यान में रखते हुए आर्थिक नीतियां बने। मुझे खुशी है कि पिछले 10 साल में हमारी सरकार ने गांव के हर वर्ग के लिए विशेष नीतियां बनाई हैं, निर्णय लिए हैं। 2-3 दिन पहले ही कैबिनेट ने पीएम फसल बीमा योजना को 1 वर्ष अधिक तक जारी रखने की मंजूरी दे दी।
Prime Minister mentioned a recent study by State Bank of India that reveals that rural poverty in India has decreased from nearly 26% in 2012 to less than 5% in 2024. He noted while some people have been chanting slogans to eradicate poverty for decades, the country is now witnessing a real reduction in poverty.
स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया की रिपोर्ट क्या कह रही है? वो कहते हैं 2012 में भारत में ग्रामीण गरीबी, रूरल पॉवर्टी यानी गांवों में गरीबी करीब 26% थी, 26%। 2024 में 2024 में भारत में रूरल पॉवर्टी यानी गांवों में गरीबी घट कर गए पहले जो 26% गरीबी थी वो गरीबी घट करके 5% से भी कम हो गई है।
During the inauguration of Gramin Bharat Mahotsav 2025, India's Prime Minister visited various pavilions and interacted with artisans and craftsmen, highlighting their contributions to traditional craftsmanship. Celebrating rural India's entrepreneurial spirit and cultural heritage, the six-day festival is based on the theme Building a Resilient Rural India for a Viksit Bharat 2047. The festival, through various discussions, workshops and masterclasses, aims to enhance rural infrastructure, create self-reliant economies and foster innovation with rural communities. Moving on, US President-elect Donald Trump has dismissed the hush money case as a rigged charade. As judge ruled on his sentencing in the hush money case, the decision adds another chapter to the ongoing legal battles before he assumes office. Details in our next report.
A US judge has ruled that US President-elect Donald Trump will be sentenced on January 10th in the criminal case involving hush money paid to adult actress Stormy Daniels. Acting Justice Juan Merchan of the New York State Supreme Court noted that he is not inclined to impose a jail sentence, instead suggesting unconditional discharge, meaning no custody, monetary fine, or probation as the most viable solution. The ruling means Trump will be required to appear at a court hearing just 10 days before his January 20th inauguration, an unprecedented scenario in US history. Before Trump, no US president, former or sitting, had been charged with or convicted of a crime. Trump may appear at his sentencing either in person or virtually. In a statement, Trump spokesperson Stephen Cheong said there should be no sentencing in the case. Justice Merchan denied Trump's motion to dismiss the case, stating that the charges of falsifying business records do not threaten presidential authority. Prosecutors suggested alternatives such as delaying the sentencing until after Trump's presidency or ensuring a non-custodial sentence. The charges stem from a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels, allegedly to silence her before the 2016 election. Trump has pleaded not guilty, calling the case a political attack. Meanwhile, his other legal battles, including a Georgia election case, remain ongoing. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
And staying with updates from the United States, Republican Mike Johnson was returned as Speaker of the House of Representatives, marking the start of complete Republican control in Washington. President-elect Donald Trump previously endorsed Johnson for the role of House Speaker, saying a win for Mike today will be a big win for the Republican Party. The Speaker wields key influence in Washington by presiding over the House business and is second in line to the presidency after the Vice President. Voting in a new Speaker is the first requirement of new session of Congress. Without that leader in place, the chamber cannot move on to any other function. Police in Seoul blocked a march by anti-un protesters on Saturday who were heading towards the official presidential residence. This comes after President Yoon Suk-yeol briefly imposed martial law, sparking widespread protest and condemnation from opposition parties. The martial law declaration, which was later immediately reversed, had outlawed all forms of political activity, including protest and demonstrations. The move was widely seen as an attempt to suppress opposition and consolidate power. The international community also is keeping a close eye on developments, with the US State Department issuing a security alert advising Americans in South Korea to exercise caution. And in South Korea, investigators on Saturday expect to compile the complete transcript from the cockpit voice recorder recovered from the wreckage of the Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 that crashed on Sunday. The ministry says investigators have recovered one of the plane's two engines and plan to retrieve the other by Saturday. They also aim to study the plane's tail and landing gear at the crash scene. The ministry, which is conducting checks on all of Boeing 737-800 planes operated by Korean Airlines, plans to require immediate corrective measures if problems are found. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will begin his visit to South Korea, Japan and France from today amid a political crisis in Seoul, where Secretary Blinken will meet with the senior government officials to reaffirm the ironclad U.S.-South Korea alliance and discuss ways that the two nations can build on critical cooperation on challenges around the world based on shared values. The Secretary will also discuss how both sides can strengthen key efforts to promote a free, open and prosperous Indo-Pacific, as well as trilateral efforts with Japan. South Korea's presidential guards and military troops on Friday prevented authorities from arresting impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol under criminal investigation for insurrection over his December martial law bid. It was the first attempt by authorities to arrest him, during which they faced a 6-hour standoff with the presidential guards. Yoon supporters who gathered near the residence vowed to block any attempt to arrest him. In Japan, Secretary Blinken will meet senior Japanese government officials to review the tremendous progress the US-Japan alliance has made over the past few years. Secretary Blinken will reaffirm the importance of the alliance in addressing a range of bilateral, regional and global issues and continue to build on the momentum of US-Japan-South Korea trilateral cooperation. In France, Secretary Blinken will meet with the senior French officials as part of vital partnership to address challenges in Europe, West Asia and beyond. Moldova faces energy security crisis, Prime Minister Dorin Răzvan said on Friday after its separatist Transnistria region, cut off from Russian gas, descends into factory closures, restricted heating and rolling blackouts. The crisis peaked after Russian gas flows via Ukraine were halted on New Year's Day following Kiev's refusal to extend a transit deal with Moscow amid their ongoing conflict. Russia blames Kiev for refusing to renew the gas transit deal. Prime Minister Dorin Răzvan assured Moldova's energy security with imports from Romania, but lamented the enclave's refusal of aid, including generators and biomass systems. He said Moldovan government remained committed to helping the enclave. The Transnistrian leaders, hopeful for Russian gas, declined offers to buy from Europe, citing higher costs. And Israel has defended its raid on Kamal Adwan Hospital in North Gaza, claiming it had irrefutable evidence that Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad militants were using the hospital. However, the UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk disputed this justification, stating that Israel's claims were unsubstantiated and often vague and broad. The World Health Organization has also urged Israel to release the hospital's director, Hussam Abu Safia, who was detained during the raid. Israel's Deputy UN Ambassador, Jonathan Miller, claimed that over 240 terrorists were apprehended during the raid, including 15 who participated in October 7th massacre in southern Israel. The Kamal Adwan Hospital has been at the center of controversy, with Israel accusing Hamas of using the hospital for military purposes. However, hospital staff and WHO have denied this, stating that hospital was providing critical medical care to civilians. Syria's new Foreign Minister Asad al-Shabani announced official visits to Qatar, United Arab Emirates and Jordan this week, following the first trip to Saudi Arabia. The government, eager to attract Gulf investments to rebuild the war-torn economy, hopes these visits will foster economic recovery and strengthen regional partnerships. Earlier, a high-ranking Syrian delegation, including defense and intelligence officials, traveled to Riyadh for talks. Saudi Arabia had previously engaged with Syria's new leader, Ahmed al-Shara, who emphasized the potential for significant investment in Syria's future. Amid rising concerns over outbreak of human metapneumovirus or HMPV in China, India is monitoring the situation and is also in touch with international agencies. National Center for Disease Control is closely monitoring respiratory infections, seasonal influenza cases and other viral infections. No case of this virus has been reported yet in India. And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Parts of United States and Canada in the grip of winter storm. Red alert in high reaches of Kashmir for heavy to very heavy snowfall. And Prayagraj gears up for Mahakumbh 2025.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. A look at weather updates from around the globe. Winter storm was seen across parts of United States and Canada. On Friday, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration issued an alert on Friday, warning a major winter storm that will bring snow and ice from central plains to the mid-Atlantic until Monday. The US weather company AccuWeather has predicted that some 250 million people will feel frigid air across 40 states in the next week. There are possibilities of massive power outages over the next week. Highest demand growth of natural gas amid the freezing weather. In Maldives, flooding caused by heavy rainfall was seen in capital Malé on Friday as the northeast monsoon swept into the island nation in the Indian Ocean. People were seen walking in knee-deep water and motorcycles partially submerged in flood waters along the side of the road. Vehicles also travelled on flooded road along the coast. The Maldives Met Service Office officially announced the onset of northeast monsoon, marking a seasonal shift in weather patterns across the country. Now moving to India, the Kashmir Valley is presently in the grips of the 40-day long period of acute cold called Chelai Kalan. Kashmir is reeling under intense cold wave conditions with night temperatures continuously going sub-zero levels. The Met Department has predicted a spell of snowfall from Saturday afternoon. It said a moderate to strong western disturbance is expected to impact J&K starting Saturday, bringing light to moderate snowfall across most areas. Given these projections, a yellow alert has been issued over the region to urge people to be updated about the inclement weather. For the high reaches of Kashmir, a red alert has been issued as heavy to very heavy snowfall is expected over most places of high reaches from Saturday evening to January 6th. North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh is expected to witness a change in weather again. Light rain was reported in Lahaul Spiti in the past few days. The western disturbance is expected to affect the region soon. According to Kuldeep Srivastav, director of the Met Department, western disturbance will start affecting several areas in Himachal from Saturday evening, leading to snowfall in higher reaches of the state by January 7th morning. Rain and light snowfall are expected in mid-hill areas, while plains may witness rain and cold wave. The impact of intense cold wave in Kashmir Valley can be seen all over North India as cold wave conditions continue. A thick blanket of fog enveloped India's national capital Delhi on Saturday, reducing visibility and affecting traffic. The city woke up to a chilly morning with a dense fog cover. The visibility was recorded at 0 in several parts of North India, including Delhi's Hindon and Palam airports. Trains are also reported to be running late due to low visibility. As Delhi suffered a dip in its air quality on Friday, the Commission for Air Quality Management implemented Stage 3 of the Graded Response Action Plan or GRAP across the National Capital Region. As per the latest update by the India Met Department released on Friday night, dense fog and cold day conditions are likely to prevail over parts of northwest and central India during the next 2 days and improve thereafter.
The cold wave conditions have gripped the northern part of India, throwing normal life out of gear. This is the national capital of India, New Delhi. If you can see behind me, this part of India is covered under a thick blanket of fog, reducing visibility to almost zero. The zero visibility has caused delays in flight operations as well as train operations in northern part of India. Since last evening, the fog conditions prevailing over this part of India has also thrown out normal life out of gear. And the people in the morning hours, if you can see, are rushing to their workplace, vehicles crawling due to poor visibility conditions in the northern part of India. The IMD says that such conditions in the morning and in the evening hours in this part, which is the northern India, could prevail over the next couple of days. This is Dibyendu Mondal reporting from New Delhi with camera person Lalit for DD India.
On to some other stories. Prayagraj in India's northern state of Uttar Pradesh is ready to welcome devotees and pilgrims to the Mahakumbh Mela from January 13th to February 26th. Mahakumbh is one of Hinduism's most significant and holy events, held once every 12 years. It is the world's largest spiritual congregation, drawing millions of devotees from across the globe. Mahakumbh is considered an auspicious period for spiritual cleansing and devotion. Pilgrims flock to the renowned Sangam, which is a confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers, to take the holy dip. All preparations are in place by the government to ensure divine and secure experience for the devotees at Mahakumbh. India's Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated Sushma Bhavan, a newly constructed working women's hostel block in New Delhi on Saturday. The hostel block has been dedicated to former External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Addressing the gathering, Home Minister Shah said that since 2014, Prime Minister Modi has laid the foundation for a policy-driven approach to country's urban development. Former Atomic Energy Commission Chief and a key architect of India's nuclear program, Dr. Rajgopala Chidambaram, passed away on Saturday morning in a Mumbai hospital. He was 88. Dr. Chidambaram was instrumental in India's nuclear tests of 1974 and 1998. He also contributed significantly to finalizing the US-India Civil Nuclear Agreement, ending India's international nuclear isolation. Honored with Padma Shri in 1975, he played a pivotal role in designing and executing the 1974 tests. Let's now turn to other stories making news today. India's Minister of Minority Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, offered a chadar on behalf of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday at the most sacred Ajmer Sharif Dargah shrine located in the northwestern state of Rajasthan, as a gesture of faith that unites millions and reflects the values of peace and brotherhood. 6 people were killed in an explosion at a Sainath fireworks factory in Virudhunagar district of South Indian state of Tamil Nadu on Saturday morning. Emergency services include fire and rescue teams rushed to the site. An investigation is underway to ascertain the cause of the explosion. The Indian Air Force is holding Industry Outreach Event 25 to bolster India's defence capability and promote indigenous innovation. The 2-day event will be held on January 13th online and on-site at Air Force Station, Guwahati on 15th of January. The event will serve as a crucial platform for connecting defence industry partners, innovators and startups with the Indian Air Force.
It isn't about who we are, it's about what we do. We follow our passion.
Upon completion of a snow clearance operation by India's Border Roads Organisation, National Highway connecting Bhaderwah and Pathankot in Jammu and Kashmir opened for tourist vehicles on Saturday. The highway was shut from 31st December last year as the roads were slippery due to heavy snowfall in the region. In November 2018, General Assembly decided to proclaim 4th January as World Braille Day, recognizing that the full realization of human rights and fundamental freedoms relies on an inclusive written promotion.
World Braille Day, observed on January 4th, commemorates the birth anniversary of Louis Braille, the visionary who developed a tactile script that revolutionized communication for blind and partially sighted individuals. World Braille Day, celebrated since 2019, is observed to raise awareness of the importance of Braille as a means of communication in the full realization of the human rights for blind and partially sighted people. This day also highlights the significance of Braille in empowering visually impaired individuals to access education, information, and opportunities, fostering their full participation in society.
बचपन से ही जब मैंने स्कूलिंग मेरी स्टार्ट हुई तभी से ही मैंने ब्रेल से ही पढ़ाई की है। मैं बाय बर्थ ब्लाइंड हूँ। कॉलेज टाइम में तो मैंने बहुत टाइम 2 साल तक तो मैंने बिल्कुल ब्रेल से ही नोट्स वगैरह भी बनाए।
Government of India has undertaken a comprehensive array of initiatives to empower visually impaired individuals, emphasizing their rights, education, employment, and overall well-being. The National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Visual Impairment is working in the field of visual disability for the education, training, rehabilitation, and empowerment of persons with visual impairment since 1943. The Model School for the Visually Handicapped is imparting education to children with visual impairment from the Balvatika to senior secondary level, representing a broad spectrum of society. National Institute for the Empowerment of Persons with Visual Impairment has put in place an impressive infrastructure for printing Braille textbooks and magazines. With the combined efforts of various Braille presses, the Braille literature is being published in 14 languages. These initiatives reflect that India is making strides towards ensuring that visually impaired individuals can live with dignity, independence, and equality. World Braille Day is a reminder of the collective responsibility to create an inclusive society where visually impaired individuals can thrive. Bureau Report, DD India.
In cricket, Rishabh Pant slammed the second fastest Indian Test half-century on Saturday to give India a 145-run lead on day 2 of the 5th Test against Australia. At stumps, India were 141 for 6 with Ravindra Jadeja and Washington Sundar on field. Rishabh Pant reached 50 after just 29 deliveries before being dismissed at 61 by Pat Cummins. Earlier, India bowled out Australia for 181 in their first innings. Skipper Bumrah's absence. Australia lead the series 2-1. India needs to win in Sydney to retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest from news, from updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on your screens to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.